Mayor Kumpa, Mayor Moxie Kumpa. Let me first apologize for actually voting yes on the skating rink. It turned out to be a bad decision. But trust me, folks, it seemed like a good idea at the time. Let me also apologize for voting yes the last time the contract for the daily group came up. New person on the council, sounded like a good idea at the time. I don't believe I'll make that one again. The city council is a group of human beings. Nobody got rich off the daily contract. Nobody on the council voted for it. Nobody got rich off the skating thing. So we did not do these things to enrich ourselves. We did them because at the time it seemed, under the circumstances, that at least 5 of the people on the council agreed that it was a good idea. Now sometimes those decisions need to be maintained and sometimes they need to be overturned. As far as I am concerned about TIF, I think we've made some imaginative and creative use out of TIF so far. Could we have done different things? Of course we could. I don't believe anyone in this room can say that all or a majority of the TIF decisions we made were bad, miscalculated, or in self-interest. So if we have, as a council, made mistakes, it hasn't been in self-interest. It has been doing what we think is right under the circumstances. And I've seen the council that I've served on the past 3.5 years change its position on various issues to meet the tenor of the times. And I believe whoever you elect or re-elect will continue to do the same things. And they will, whoever they are, make some decisions that will seem to be mistakes in thinking about it afterwards. And some things they will do well. But I think you can be confident that whoever you elect or re-elect, will do a decent job for us in the years to come.
The skating rink, the issue that never dies. Yes, bad idea. As far as the TIF districts and whether they work or not, TIF can be a good thing when it's used correctly. I think there have been a lot of instances where it's been used correctly. I think there's been a couple instances where it's been abused. When a TIF district is formed, it is formed in an economically distressed or blighted area, and the purpose of the TIF is to make that an economically viable area. An example of this working well was the county home TIF. It was a very small area where the old Navy store and everything is now. They developed it, and within about 9 or 10 years, the TIF district was ended because it was now an economically viable area. We have some areas now that are so geographically large and with such vague goals that the TIF has very little prospect of actually working in a shorter time frame. And so we frequently hear from management, well, TIF lasts 23 years. That's how long it's allowed to go. But it shouldn't have to go that long. So that's might be on TIF. Thank you.
Monica Leary, 2nd Ward. Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes. How are the TIF districts doing, and specifically, was the skating rink TIF money wisely spent?
Okay, how are the TIF districts doing? Well, I'm not sure on how all of the TIF district is doing. I know one has been closed. As it come down to the skating rink, I believe that was a very bad investment. When I look at the TIF district and what they're doing in the downtown area, I've seen them invest money, and then the winter came and the sidewalks was all tore up. I've seen them make little parks there with the TIF money, and the lights have been stolen. All kinds of things have been stolen from the downtown area where they have invested the TIF money. So from what I can see, some of the TIF money has not been invested wisely. And when we have a situation where the economy is upside down like it is now, for us to put brass downtown where someone can steal to sell, I don't think that was a good investment, how we put all the brass downtown. Thank you.
Paulette Sherman, Ward 3. Obviously, I think most people here would agree the skating rink was probably not wise. I do believe, actually, just a few blocks away that there are tennis courts. I want to say Lions Park. I know that they at least used to ice over those during the winter, and you're allowed to use those for free. I don't know if the council was aware of that at the time of the decision or not, but in any event, I think, again, the TIF districts definitely have their positives and their negatives, and I think that you know, we've seen some positive uses of TIFs in DeKalb, and we've definitely seen some maybe not so wise decisions, but I really think that they are a really great tool that the city has been able to use to make some desperately needed improvements. And you know, I think before we need to continue to make decisions and really labor over whether or not what we're doing is the right thing. And you know, again, it could be a great tool, and we just need to make sure that we're making wise decisions with the money that comes out of those districts.
Ron Naylor, 5th Ward. The TIF districts have been, I believe, a great asset to the city of DeKalb. They have allowed them the opportunity to make many improvements throughout the community. And if you reflect back, look back over the years, they've been around for 20 plus years. You look at Sycamore Road, you now look at our downtown area, you look at some of the improvements throughout the community in the way of sidewalks and sewers and lighting, things that would not have been possible without the benefit of a TIF district. The skating rink, that will probably never go away. However, you have to remember that that was a part of a process that was recommended by a renewed group downtown as a marketing program, and sometimes those efforts obviously fail, don't work out the way that they maybe were anticipated to work. City Council approved that. Yes, but would you do it again? Probably not. Hindsight is always 20/20, obviously. But I do believe the TIF districts have been very beneficial, and particularly in this community. Most all of the affected other taxing bodies have been made whole over time, particularly the DeKalb school district, which is one of the few, I believe, throughout the state that have been made as whole as what the city of DeKalb has, to ensure that particularly the education of the students out there has not been affected by the TIF district. We look forward, likewise, to hopefully being able to make many more improvements throughout the community. One of the extensions has been in the 5th Ward for the North Historic area up on the north side of the ward, where they are looking now towards making some improvements as a result of the TIF funds in the way of public improvements, as well as possibly some incentive programs for converting some of the properties up in that area back to a less dense use than what is currently there. So overall, I do believe the TIF districts have been a very positive factor to the city of DeKalb. Thank you.
Last answer.
Well, thank you for giving me the privilege of having the last answer of the evening. TIF districts are a very powerful tool when they're used properly. About 2 years ago, I seem to recall up in Freeport, where 2 large big box retailers were able to locate to Freeport that were not going to because of the TIF district created. Looking around at some of the TIF districts we have in town, I actually have to sit and wonder how many of these TIF districts have actually created any jobs added to the property tax or sales tax revenues here in DeKalb. I really don't want to talk about the skating rink because there's not a lot that I can say that hasn't been said. Even Alderman Simpson apologized. I hope that's not a sign of things to come from my The skating rink, I don't want to harp on it. Even Alderman Simpson apologized on behalf of City Council for it. I will say I found it entertaining that at Lions Park, the 5th Ward where Ron and I both reside, a rink popped up literally a couple weeks later, so I just have to question if there's any synergy between the DeKalb Park District and the City Council. One of the One of the actual TIF districts in the works now at a recent city council meeting requires about $187,000 of TIF money being allocated towards $1 million intersection improvement. And I have to question if now is the time to be actually doing that. While I realize a lot of the funds came from state and other grants and other funding, if $187,000 of the TIF is going to be used, I'd like to see it used in a way that we can generate some sales tax or property tax revenue for the city. The other thing is the inequity that a TIF district can sometimes create. TIF districts can create inequity between neighbors. If I live across the street from someone in a TIF and their property taxes are frozen, well, I'm not going to be too happy if I own a $150,000 house and someone's taxes are frozen, while according to the recent school board, it's really hard to do that with a bat flying over. Anyway, with the school board being what it is, as far as our property taxes going up, it's really hard to sit and look at my neighbor across the street and say, boy, your taxes are frozen and mine are not. Now they're going to go up because of the school board tax. Finally, with downtown, I guess I don't get any extra bat seconds. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.